So, hello and welcome back again, actually, because I just recorded it and then my program said, like, yeah, something is wrong with the encoder, please start the video again. Fortunately, I was already, or not already, 1 minute in, which, isn't then just, that troubly or something. But, hello and welcome to the next episode of the Self Development with Tactics podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Walch. I'm a 17, actually 18-year-old graphic design student from Austria, and I'm really happy to be here with you and go through The Art of People by Dave Kerpen. Actually, the book we were going through yesterday as well. There is something sad to be said. I've been going through this book a little bit just to see if there's enough in it or actually something in it. When I was on the train home, actually just, I don't know, half an hour ago. And then it was quite like, I do not know. Most of the informations coming up aren't that good, I would say, actually. The thing is, I want to go through it anyways, because I think even though it's a bad example or a negative example, you can just put it in a positive way by just me being like, yeah, I do not think that this is actually true or this is right or this is whatever, but just, making it right for me, at least. So, yeah, just something I wanted to say to inform you, which also means that you maybe should keep a little bit more attention to what I'm saying, because if you do not, maybe some statements might be wrong and you make something or do something that I would never ever suggest you to do, because it's pretty not good. But let's see. We have gone through, we all want connections. This is the next chapter I will go through. So another thing that humans crave is connection. Often humans are lonely and feel isolated. Actually, and I've been speaking about this one before already, scientists have shown that not having any social connections, so any friends, any family, any maybe girlfriend or boyfriend, this is actually more unhealthy than smoking 2 cigarettes a day. So, at my point of view, social connections and social interactions are fucking important. And actually, it was actually the last weekend, so 3 days ago, so the 28th, 27th of January, I was feeling so terribly. And, at first I didn't really know why. And then, as I was thinking about it, and as I was really thinking about it, not like, yeah, I feel bad, I understand it, okay, so I just get it. No, I was deeply just thinking about, like, what is different today than on other days? And then I just really seen that the only thing that's some kind of different is, first of all, I do have more time because it's weekend for doing whatever. And second of all is, on the weekends, I mostly do not have any social interactions but my girlfriend. So, during the day or during the week, I just hang around with people my whole day long, because I do have to be in school until 5 p.m., so 5:20 p.m. actually, and I'm actually then at home just quite 1.5 hours later, and in this time I do as well just hang around with people. And then I was like, yeah, this has to be it. This has to be the reason why I'm not feeling that good. The thing is, it might not sound like, yeah, it is that important, but it is, I think, because, we actually were meant to be social beings. If you just think about our ancient ancestors, they really had to be in groups because they just were hunting and or collecting berries or some other thing to eat. We had to be in a group because there were so fucking a lot of predators out there, which just would destroy us if we would be alone. And just going hunting alone was maybe not even the best idea also. So at my point of view, we actually were meant to be social beings. But yeah, This is why Kern believes that authentically listening and connecting with people is so important, actually true, and authentically should be underlined 500 times, because yeah, you should not be interested in somebody because you think you will get something out of it. No, you should be interested in a person because it is the person. Even though, yeah, you might just, want to test out if this is even working, that, you just make a better connection with this, or get a better connection with this person if you do just seem to be more interested in him or her. But yeah, you can just learn a lot from people. That's totally true. Everybody has his or her own experiences. And just if you ask someone, yeah, how, did you experience this one or that one? Or actually, at my point of view, the most interesting thing is actually speaking with older people, because they have so much knowledge, first of all, and so much experience. And you can tell them how it was like living in earlier days and so on. So yeah, authentically listening and connecting is important. By doing this, you will improve their move. By doing this, you will improve their move, their sense of being, and help them feel less alone. You will be in a position of power with them and able to have influence over them. Kern emphasizes the importance of being authentic in doing this. You can't be doing this with a selfish, ulterior motive. It's important that you are developing the relationship because it's the right thing to do for both of you. I do understand, and this is actually something that I've pointed out yesterday as well. In business, it might not be that simple as he just thinks or he just talks about, because you, at my point of view, then just sometimes have to work with people or just be interested in people because you need something from them. Or yeah, it just sounds really bad, but I cannot just visualize it as it is. You just have to be you just kind of have to be really friendly and so on, because you need them for your business and you just need to work with them, maybe. Or they are your clients and you actually do hate them, but they pay good, or pay well, so you just do it anyways, even though you hate them. The thing is, in nowadays economy, really only the higher people, in terms of their wealth or their authority especially, can't just really choose who they work with. H&M can't be like, yeah, no, I won't sell you my clothes because you're a shitty person. But this is another chapter. This is a whole nother topic, but I think you get what I mean. So, in my position, I would have to work with everybody out there. Some sort, even though I do not like to, and even though a lot of clients and a lot of people are just, really shit to work with. Not always in terms of their personality, but often it is like, and especially in the design industry, that working with people is actually pretty hard, because you just explain them something and they do not get it, and they do think of it in some kind of different way, and at the end maybe you just do something because they like it, but actually it isn't good, but or the other way around, so it is good but they do not like it, which a lot of business owners wouldn't really think of, I guess. But yeah, so focus on meeting the right people. This is actually, as I was going through it, yeah, it's totally true. You won't be just meeting any people. So if you're just really into meeting new people, you should just kind of be a little bit picky, because then surrounding yourself with people who are shit and abusive and whatever might not be the best idea to have. So just the right people is also such a subjective thing. I just think about people who see more in life, who do just work, who do just believe in something and do just try to learn as many things as they can. So actual things that some kind of could contribute your life and yourself and your being. But yeah, so there's a simple key to networking that nobody talks about. Standing out from the crowd, you want to be noticed in a room full of people trying to get noticed, you need a point of difference. So Kern identifies a few ways that you can help yourself stand out in a crowd. He acknowledges that many people will see this as unnecessary or something that doesn't really work, but there's no harm in trying. So actually, kind of true. If you just stand out in the crowd, people will actually notice you. And he then just explains it with just really colorful and attention-grabbing clothes, as I just read it now. Might actually be a good idea. Just if you just have, I don't know, red hair, blue hair, just really, really bright colored t-shirts or actually socks would be actually a pretty good idea. In terms, you're just wearing a suit with just really crazy socks. This would grab attention, really. So this might be a good idea. I don't know if you just, I think it's great that he acknowledges or he points out that he has said a lot of tips to do that. So not only the clothing thing, so actually just being a different person or some kind of interesting person is, if there is something like this, would do the same thing actually. It's not always about how you look like, but this is maybe the most attention grabbing, because just people look at you and then they think, and I don't think like, yeah, he just is a nice person because he doesn't look like it, but because I feel it. We are mostly judged by our external looking, I guess. So meeting people. Kern believes that LinkedIn is one of the most important social networks out there. I would say, yeah, for business people and businesses itself and people who are associated with businesses. But in general, there isn't much attention in LinkedIn or on LinkedIn at the moment. I believe in that it will kind of swap to it, or just, will change a little bit, and there will be actually more in LinkedIn than it is now. But actually, the most popular and the most crowded hub is just Instagram. For normal people, so normal people in quotations mark, please. But with businesses and business people and business associated with people, or people associated with businesses, LinkedIn is an actual great platform because all the businesses are there. All the people are there which are associated with business. It's just their own, some kind of community of, company owners, employees, employers, whatever. These are just all these people who are on LinkedIn. On Instagram, there is just, everybody, just from the 15-year girl to the 80-year-old man who is just watching funny videos. I don't know. But, So meeting people believes that LinkedIn is one of the most important social networks out there. He emphasizes the importance of using it in the right way so you can connect with almost anyone you want. Here's how you should use it. Start by creating a profile, which actually would be a good idea if you want to be on LinkedIn, obviously. The education you received, organizations you worked for, and groups you've been a member of. It's important not to leave anything out. The more on your profile, the more likely you are to connect with people who have something in common with you, which is actually the most drastical point of just, people are willing to connect with you because they just see some kind of familiarities with you and them, or there's just something that's the same with them and you, which is just really, really funny. Instantly connect with people you work with or attend school with. This will immediately improve your second-degree connection ability. If there is someone you would particularly like to meet, search them on LinkedIn and find a mutual connection. This should be easy if you have covered all of your bases. Ask the mutual connection to introduce you, and hopefully you can set up a meeting. This would be actually a great way, but it will take a lot of time and a lot of effort, because you then just have to create a relationship with the other human being to just have the opportunity to meet the other one, which is, it's some kind of doesn't feel that good for me, to be honest. But it would make sense if you just are really fucking willing to get to this certain person, just meeting with people they know them or who know them. It would make sense, but it kind of doesn't feel that good for me. Advisors. Kern recommends establishing your own advisory board. And this is something I actually just thought like, would you actually be doing this? It just, I don't know. It is hard with this one with this whole article maybe, because it's not complicated, but complicated in the way of, is it really the thing I would suggest people, or is it just something I do not know too much about, so that's the reason why I can't just really, make myself an opinion out of it. But yeah. So Kern recommends establishing your own advisory board. This can contain anywhere from 7 to 11 people. Your advisory board is designed to help you reach your pre-established goals. It's important to select the right people and understand how each of them will be beneficial in aiding you reach to these goals. Kern recommends having at least 50% of the board made up of people you already know. Have a minimum of 2 people that you've never met but have mutual connections with. Once you've established who you want on your advisory board, invite them and establish where you will meet and how regularly. Also identify any compensations that you wish to offer, which just means it is some kind of trading system. You be like, and this is actually something I did on Instagram as well. I was like, yeah, I will make you a logo if you just shout me out. The thing is, until now I only made logos and did never get any shoutouts, even though people just seemed, most of the time, please underline this so fucking hard, most of the time people just seem to be pretty nice and pretty, not that straightforward, but yeah, some sorta. But actually not everybody. So some people are just really kinda, I do not want to say strange, but because everyone is, their own personality, but some of them do not even seem like giving you something back for it. Or they just seem to be like, yeah, why not? I will take it. Like, not that friendly, maybe, not that kind. And at my point of view, I just really feel when people aren't kind or aren't just, it just actually some kind of bothers me sometimes when people aren't kind, because I do not understand it, especially when they are just are not kind, not just in a jokey way, or maybe I do just joke around with their with not maybe too nice things, but it's just a joke, and I will just make it so obvious that it is a joke, or I just afterwards just be like, sorry, I didn't mean it like this, which appears, or which happens, which occasionally happens, yeah. But I actually do think, if you just work with people, you have to be kind and you have to be nice. It's what I think, and I think it's fucking important, and I do not understand why people aren't nice or kind. Yeah, recently, I just read a comment on Instagram where a girl was like, yeah, when she's kind, everybody just gets used of it and just, get things from her and never give her something back. So then I was like, yeah, this might actually be a really fucked up part of being nice. So people will just, take advantage of you. But the thing is, it's the right thing, at my point of view, at least. So yeah, but I do just think now, and I think or thought about it at this kind of moment, how would they just, take advantage of her if you just are nice? Which means of being kind, or with being kind, I just mean, yeah, you should just smile at people. You should be a little bit more emphasizing with people. You should try to understand them and just maybe even connect with them. And maybe even just have a whole wrong opportunity or whole wrong opinion about what the term kindness even means. For me, it's like, yeah, emphasizing with people some sort of, helping people some sort of, just, really pointing something out if they just, maybe they some sort of forget something, and you just say them, oh yeah, here, you forget it, just to be kind. If somebody left something on the train, which appears or which happens so fucking often. And today, actually, This was some kind of moment like this. So my train goes, or it leaves my station at 6:29. So usually a lot of people are sleeping or are pretty sleepy at this point in time, and until we are at our destiny, I think it's 7:14 or something. And today actually somebody was sleeping actually at the time we arrived at our destination, and we were actually staying there for 2 to 3 minutes, and I was like, I would really like to wake him up, but just going to him and just tapping him on and be like, yeah, we are already there, please get up. I don't know, it's always like, touching people might not be the best idea, because they may be confused and just maybe hit around or something like that. So you should be a little bit more cautious about that one. So what did I do? I made a really fucking loud noise. Just by saying this, it sounds so fucking dumb. But the actual thing is, if you just take your tongue and press it against your upper mouth part, and when you release it, there will just, your tongue snaps back and make a pretty loud noise. I can make that fucking loud, and I did it in the train, and because of the environment in the train, everything was kind of echoed back and forth and back and forth. Not that slow, but pretty fast. And so he woke up, and I was like, I was just really kind of happy about me doing this. But I do really not want to point out, and this is actually what I was thinking about afterwards. I do not want to point out just to say, I'm such a good person. No, I'm not. But you can make it easy and you can make it complicated in life. But so in terms of people won't always be compensating what you offer them. It will appear, and it's some kind of boils down to whether you just let it come to this point or not. It's actually something that Gary Vee says. He said that if somebody wants to take advantage of him, he's the person who just some kind of makes it happen, or just he could make it happen or not. So he can just decide whether he works with someone like that or not. You always have the opportunity. But so hiring and firing. This is a point where I do just not agree, because of some reasons which I then just talk about after I've read these 2 paragraphs. So Kern is a firm believer in the motto of hiring slow and firing first. This goes for both professional and personal relationships. He recommends you take some time to consider people in your life that you may have rushed into hiring and they aren't serving the purpose. These people need to be fired and let go. Consider friends, acquaintances, it's acquaintances, and employees. On the opposite side, you need to hire slow. Don't rush into intense relationships with people before you know it's right. Take your time and get to know each other before you dive into a commitment. Again, this goes for personal and professional relationships. Actually, quite a great advice. And as I was reading through it, I actually felt like it might even be the better idea than what I am thinking about. And what I'm thinking about is exactly what Gary Vee is all the time saying. Because I felt like, it makes sense, but it isn't that easy. He just says that you should hire very fast and you should fire very fast. The thing is, you will just immediately get a force who can help you with building your business or making some kind of things or whatever. But the thing is, if you just hire and fire and hire and fire all the fucking time, you may certainly get some kind of, or you may lose a lot of money, because I do not know how laws in your region or country, but I think that if you just gave something or gave someone an employment, they just, even if you fire them, they will get something in return of that. So they will at least get I think I'm not that educated in this area at all. So I would recommend you, and I would just please you to just to correct me if I say something wrong. It should be all the time like this, because I do not have that much knowledge in general. So I do know certain things, and certain things better, certain things worse, but I just assume it because it would be some kind of fair, even though life isn't fair at all, often. So I just kind of think that if you just get employed once, you may just get back at least 1 month of your wage, because you actually were just employed for a certain period of time, and because you work that, it would make sense that you get this actual month of payment. But I don't know, and it would be nice to hear what it's like in your country, or if you actually know this one or not. So, but on the other side, besides losing money, you just maybe hurt a lot of people, because they think like, yeah, I do have a job right now, and I'm lucky that I have a job, because getting a job seems to be not that easy. It seems to be, I do not know. So you might hurt a lot of feelings. So it's kind of decision. I do not know actually. I do have to be in a position first, which I'm kind of feared about actually for my future, because these are just pretty heavy decisions you have to make. And I'm not someone who likes to make decisions, even though I know that if I should be in this position, or if I want to be in such a position, I need to be able, until this time, that I need to be able to just make decisions, first of all, fast, and most of the time pretty accurate. Fast because often, and as Bezos says, so the Amazon boss, which is actually something I kind of believe in, making fast decision in today's environment is way cheaper and way better than just taking pretty long for a decision that might be right or not. But if just make it very fast, and it turns out that it wasn't the quite best decision, you can just quite return it with a low cost. So nothing will happen, everything is good, everyone is happy, some sorta, maybe not, but be not so good. But yeah, so take your time letting them into your inner circle, but don't be afraid to toss them out the second it stops feeling right. Blowing people off. Another part of being human is the need to be liked. This desire to always be seen as a nice person can actually harm you in the long run. It can mean you give your time away to anyone that asks, regardless of how beneficial it may or may not be for you. People who ask a lot of you often don't offer anything in return, and these are the people you should be blowing off. This is some kind of thing that I just thought about the term kindness, and me just advising to be kind. What did I want to say? So another part of humans need to like you definitely should give a fuck about what people think about you, but you should, so which means that you shouldn't be nice because you just expect people to be nice to you as well, or like you because you are nice. Most of the time it is like it. So if you're just very nice and just a very kind person, people will like you, because it wouldn't make any sense. But if just people are someone like, yeah, I do need a bad boy because bad boys are great. I don't know, for me it doesn't make any sense why people would just want bad boys, because most of the time they're just really fucked up, and they would just only harm you. But yeah, I think I will never understand it. Maybe I do. You should never say never, because there will always be an opportunity, but I do not understand it yet. The thing is, I do not know if I will ever try to. But yeah, so on the other end of the scale, we are all busy and often can't afford to give people our time. It's always a time in terms of preferences. Sometimes when you are unsure about the value someone can offer you, you'll blow them off without giving them a chance. Although this can work in your favor, sometimes you might be missing out on valuable opportunities. Take the time to evaluate people and relationships before committing time to them or blowing them off completely. Actually, great advice, and it's pretty nice of him and pretty accurate of him and right of him to just point this out, because yeah, it's true. You just should evaluate. Yeah, is this a good person for me? Is this a bad person for me? Does this make me any better or any worse? Or yeah, is this contributing my life or is it not contributing to your life? And just quite think about it and not like because you might even regret it. So but yeah, but people, especially older ones, do really only regret what they didn't do and not what they did do, which I think is something that's been said quite a lot, but it just kind of felt right to say it right now. Learn how to read other people. This is, I think actually the part I was looking for forward most of the time, because it is actually what I came for some sort of. So we have already discussed the importance of listening to other people. Kern really emphasizes the importance of understanding that listening isn't simply hearing. In order to truly listen, you need to be consciously paying attention to what someone else is saying, so that you can just really accurately make other questions, which just really lets the whole conversation run a lot better and a lot more fluent, and a lot you just seem to be, which makes sense, more interested in him, because you actually make or ask him questions which may even be just really detailed or really just some kind of accurate, in terms of you just really listen to him, really deep listening. You need to make a conscious attempt to understand what they are saying and what it means. Consider what is important to them and why. Listening is the act and at any given moment of caring more about what someone else has to say than anything else in the world. Listening is hard, a lot harder than you might think. Listen with your eyes. Kern explains that you need to learn how to listen with your eyes, not just with your ears. He identifies a number of non-verbal signs and cues that people often use and explains what they mean. Here's a list of what you should be looking for. Pay attention to people's facial expressions, little smiles or frowns, raised eyebrows, or crinkled forehead. Yeah, these are all just some kind of mean feelings. So if somebody is just looking like this all the time, might not be the best sign. So if you just took your eyebrows right into your eyes, don't know this actually, or the raised eyebrows or the eyebrow flash, what it is actually called. I think it's actually the really right term for describing this one. So just moving your eyebrows up. Most of the time it's just like really quick. So, and this is a nice gesture. It's like saying hello or just feeling nice about it, or it's a positive one. Other things like a little smile. It always depends on if it was meant like truly a smile, or was it like I just smile because I just need to, because it feels like I have to, which you most of the time see if you just look somebody in the eyes, because you then see just the eye area and you might actually know that already. But if you truly smile, you just smile with your eyes as well. So like there gets some kind of wrinkles besides your eyes, because this muscle gets a little bit tensioned. Does their posture change? Consider their body movements and whether they look comfortable or not. I just was kind of a little bit stuck as I was going through it by if it looks comfortable or not, which is just completely subjective. There is some general rules on how people behave in certain situations and how they then feel, how their body language is, so which is the same thing, and so on, and how their arms, if they're crossed, if they're not crossed, if their legs are crossed, if they're not crossed. And I definitely have to go through one again, because it's actually fucking interesting. And I went through a book which is pretty long but pretty fucking accurate on body language and what these all things mean. I've been going through it in my leisure time, and I was just always talking about I do have to go one, and I always was thinking about it. I've actually done already. I think it were 2 or 3 episodes of a body language book already. But the other book is just, a little bit more step up in the ladder of body language books. But yeah, so just, in terms of if they're comfortable or not, yeah, it's totally subjective, and, just thinking of them like you would be comfortable in this position might not be the best idea. Things to look at is if somebody has crossed arms, which means that they are pretty defensive and they might not like what you are saying or what is happening. If they're open, they make themselves vulnerable for other people, which means that they are kind of fearless, they are confident, they don't, or they actually kind of like what you're saying because they they do not feel offended or some kind of in a dangerous position or something. Something else. If there's something else you can think about it, yeah. If somebody has the feeling pointed towards you while you're talking to them or not, indicates whether they are quite interested in you or not. Which means that if they do talk with you, but their feet are pointed somewhere elsewhere, they may not be interested in your conversation. So there are a lot of pretty interesting things you can just look at in your just normal life. You do not have to be an entrepreneur to really see it or just have some certain qualifications to see it. No, you can actually see it in every life situations you might have. So yeah. So often people talk with their hands, pay attention to waves, pointing, and animated speaking. Which is true. People say that or I've read it, I don't know, if people lie, they often do not make any gestures, and they probably will also have their palms closed. Open palms indicate honesty or just spitting the truth. Yeah. So hands are pretty important factors, and I just would invite you to go through the body language episodes I made some time ago, which might be pretty interesting to you, and I've been definitely going through some kind of great advice you could actually take into your normal life. Maintain eye contact throughout and see if they do also. Actually, with the eye contact, I'm not that quite sure, because actually just really looking in somebody else's eyes all the time while you're talking with them, for me, doesn't work out too long. So I can just pretty much hold it. It just feels like, I do have to, no, I do want to. But at certain points, I do just only think about looking them into the eyes, rather than actually listening to what they are saying, which is a reason for me not to just look around sometimes, and yeah. But I think if they actually just maintain eye contact pretty deeply and pretty all the time, they are maybe more interested in you than somebody who is just looking around all the time. Which would make sense for me. Pay attention to the physical space you are both consuming. Are you close or at distance? Space can communicate signs of intimacy, closeness, or anger and distance. In general, I would say people who just some kind of, first of all, are strangers to you, or people you actually do not like, or some kind of feel maybe dangerous about, or that they are dangerous, you will definitely keep a little bit more distance from them, because you just kind of protect yourself. You just have to think it like, somebody is the predator and somebody is just, like the little sheep who is just maybe in danger or not. Every sheep would be just, pretty distant from the probably predator. But if it's just a sheep as well, they will just get near as they want to. And couples will definitely be closer to each other than just normal friends, or also in terms of, time period. So also remember to pay attention to how someone is talking. Listen to their tone of voice. Does it change? What does it communicate? You can definitely just hear if I am, for example, talking about something that I'm actually passionate about. I am passionate about all the time, but sometimes there are just topics or things that just spit out that I'm so passionate about, you will definitely hear it. Also anger, or if somebody is ironically saying something, or maybe someone is sad, and you can definitely hear that one if people just really speak quietly, and or just some kind of not defensive in terms of they protect themselves, but defensive in terms of they're just kind of tired of themselves or of their situation. Kern recommends using, and there's something I do have to say right now. I do really fucking wish you to be so happy. So happy. Not happy, but so happy. Because at my point of view, with happiness comes all the other things. And happiness is important for me, and I actually quite found out that money is good and great, and you can buy a lot of things and you can do a lot of things with money, but without actually having done something meaningful in your life, you won't be happy, at my point of view. And so if you are happy, the byproduct of happiness will definitely be success, because you actually like the things you're doing, and money. But the byproduct of money doesn't have to be happiness. So so Kern recommends using mirroring as a tool to improve your connection with people. But again, so mirroring is just mirroring their body gestures, how they stand, how their body language is, which could be some kind of difficult, because if they do have crossed arms, which indicates defensiveness, just doing the same, I don't know. It might communicate, we are both some kind of not sure of the other person, but you can't simply repeat back what you have heard while seeming insincere. The key to making mirroring work is to actually care. People in general don't want advice even when they ask for it. People just do really want to hear confirmation, which is just really fucked up, because actual advice or actual critics can be very great. The thing is, if you give them, these just have to be some kind of usable. If you just tell people, you're a fucking piece of shit, they can't work with that. They can't. How should they? The thing is, if you just tell them and give them a reason for because it is like this, and why you feel about this like you're doing, this is good advice, and this is good feedback, and this is good critics. But do not only be you're just total shit and just get out of my way. This won't work. So it's important to remember that the validation is not the same as agreeing. In order to validate, you need to show the other person that you actually care about them and what they are saying. You need to show that you understand. First meetings. Kern explains that the most important question you can ask when you first meet someone is, how can I help you? In asking this, you are giving the other person the opportunity to ask for help. This will let them feel definitely better than if you just go to them and be I will give you that advice and this feedback and that feedback. Because if somebody doesn't want any feedback, they won't say anything. And people quite do not understand it. I feel like it. Because if people just need something from you, they will definitely ask you. But if not, they not. So they feel more appreciative and connected to you, because they just kind of do not feel bad about themselves, because nobody wants to be criticized out of nowhere, or just get advice, especially from people who might not be above them in terms of knowledge or intellect or whatever. Because I actually think with quite if you're just talking to someone who is just on the same ground as you are, if you understand that, it is some totally different than just talking to, for example, Tony Robbins. If Tony Robbins comes up to you and he's like, I would do just that and not this and that, out of nowhere you will be okay, I will do this, because you admire him, for example, or you just know that he is a knowledgeable person or has a lot of knowledge or whatever, or he's an authority. It always comes up to who the person is, which is kind of pity. And this is also some kind of the reason why I really want to be successful in my life, because I then know that people will actually people will actually care about what I'm saying. Not in a way like I feel like, nobody's caring what I say, but they actually, even though if I know something exactly and for sure, they won't be like, they may be like, yeah, I understand it, but they won't act on it, if this is the right verb to use. But if you're just an authority, people will just, kind of really thrive for every single feedback they can get of you or from you. But yeah, however, it is important to remember that validation is not the same as agreeing. In order to validate, you need to show the person what you actually and have already read them. They feel more appreciative and connected to you. This will also prompt them to help you out in return, although this may not be immediate. In some cases, your offers to help will be declined. This will be because they simply do not know how you can help them. But even when declined, your offer is still beneficial and they will still be appreciative of the offer. Yeah, because I actually do think as well that people actually do not like to get helped, some kind of as well, because then it just means that you just admit that you kind of fucked up something, or you can't help yourself, which is some kind of insecurities maybe, and or just fears, which actually doesn't make any sense, because yeah, it is hard for me as well, because I do really kind of not admit something I can't handle, even though it's in an area that I'm pretty good at. This is, these are some points that I'm not that good in yet, actually. But really great feedback and advice is actually something definitely great, because you can grow out of it. This is something a lot of people do not quite understand. And yeah, I do actually have a story from today, actually. I did have a presentation today as well, a design presentation, and there were actually the clients in our classroom, and we were presenting them with the Beamer, if it's called like that, I don't know. And I did have quite a great design, but in terms of functionality, it wasn't that great. So it was a landing page for them, and I just animated it with Flash, or better said with InDesign, exported into Flash, so that you actually have an interactive PDF, kinda in a Flash format. But at the end, because of a generic function of this Flash player, which is just, this page turning effect that you have if you just go to the right bottom corner, made the whole thing not work, because I actually had a button in the right corner that led to the most important part of this whole presentation. The thing was, it wasn't working, and I was very, very pissed about it, because especially I just got a bad mark because of it, even though it just, was so much fucking work, which kind of led me to the conclusion that you should never do something. I will just, go through it, and then I'll just talk about it once again. You just should never do something you, how should I say, maybe you should never do something you feel about, it's just wasting time, and you do not know if it's working or not. The thing is, that's not actually true. So I do not know how I should actually say it, but trying things out is pretty important. And I do know that maybe I just need to fail pretty often, that I understand things, because I'm actually someone who is just doing things. I'm actually pretty much a doer. I do things, and then I quite think about if they work or not, some sort of. It happened to me quite often, and some sorta. So do not take it with a grain of salt. But at the end, it wasn't working, and I kind of misunderstood the whole topic as well. So it kind of made me learn out of my failure again, which means for me that, yeah, I do actually know how I could make such files, because nobody else in my whole class did something like that. It actually was working, and I was pretty proud of it that it was working, yeah. But, its functionality wasn't that good, or, yeah, it, didn't function totally. So, not totally, yeah. So it didn't function at all, yeah. But yeah, I learned that what actually a landing page is, because I just some kind of misunderstood it. So a landing page, yeah, I just explain it. A landing page is something for a company, for example, if they do have an event, like in our situation, it was like, yeah, they have 150 years of their company, so it's the 150th year of them being actually established, and they just kind of wanted to celebrate it, and they just, yeah, really wanted us to make a landing page. And I kind of did like, yeah, I put what they do in general onto it, and I put so much things that shouldn't be on it as well. But the thing is, yeah, an actually great example is a stool. A stool can really look great, but if you can't sit on it, it's useless. Yeah, I'll let it be like this, because it's actually the best advice and the best, not advice, but example I can give you. If it's, it's the same with a computer mouse. A computer mouse could look very ergonomically, but if you can't click it, you cannot use it. And it is the same thing with my presentation. My presentation looked great. It kind of was working great. In some parts of it, it was working definitely good. But, it first of all was a kind of wrong topic, and I misunderstood it. And second of all, it didn't work out completely. So the whole concept was kind of fucked by one single thing, which made everything not work. Which then means for me, if I just did something pretty simple as everybody else was doing, it would be, in terms of my mark, better for me. But I do know now how I can do certain things, and this and that. And yeah, I just, at the end, even though I was so fucking pissed about it afterwards, because it was quite a lot of work. And marks are actually, these are actually dead things that piss me off the most. Because most of it is like, yeah, me just working for it relatively hard and relatively a lot, and at the end, often it's like I do not get something back from it. So often it's like, yeah, I do just then get not that of a good mark, even though I just put in a lot of work, which is then pretty shit for me. But it's definitely because of me. It's not like, yeah, the teachers are shit, because most of the time I just do put a lot of work into my things creatively, but often functional wise, and just actually, yeah, the idea is great of the design, but actually then doing it, and the final product isn't that good, and it's some kind of like, how do I say, it's not that accurately made, so nothing actually is quite that as I it's the same thing, like, you make something in InDesign or whatever, any text program you have, and then you actually print it, and then you just really fucking badly cut everything into, the right size and everything, and so at the end, the whole piece is fucked, not because the design is bad, but because the execution at the end was bad. And this is the problem I have. My execution lacks a lot of accuracy and all other things. So it would just, really be a good thing for me to just have, a good idea, but not to be too picky about it, or just work a little bit faster on an idea and then just try, even though I'm really not a person who can execute accurately. So I can execute things, yeah, but if it's just not hard, but how should I say? It's kind of hard. So if it's just really accuracy work and you just have to put things together and it's something you have to fold or even have to cut or whatever, I'm not that good at it. And so I should rather spend time on this one than on the other thing, even though this would kind of fuck my whole thing of just working on something that you actually are good at and then be the best at it. If I had a company, I would definitely just make things and just let it print someone else. Just outsource the printing. But yeah, so this is fairly a long episode, but it was fun as quite always. And what it should be, yeah, if you're just working on something, sometimes, yeah, it might not be so great. Sometimes it's really great, like today, everything went quite well. But yeah, I love you and I hope you are the happiest person on the fucking planet right now. This is what I want you to be. And I'll see you the next time. And I love you. I see you. Sorry.